I have to turn off my flash because it's too much on this screen. But I just finished what I think is the good design for this lockdown mechanism that I've been struggling with. I haven't really said much about it, but I have been, okay? I have the parts that rotate, and you saw it running, right? And the gear and all that's coming together. This gear is beautiful, I want you to know. It's just gorgeous. A lovely shape, a good cam, good action, 2 ball bearings, it's wonderful. But the mounting in here, I can fit it in and mount it, but locking it up so that it doesn't rotate when you don't want it to was, for some reason, I went through a lot of iterations. But what I came up with was, now I'm putting an extra lump on the head of this thing, and I've added a ring around the body. There's plenty of room on that side for a countersunk screw, and it'll be one of these small shoulder screws like this, you see. It has a little shoulder in it and a fat head, and it'll slide in there and then screw into those threads, and that will lock this thing down. Now, if the gear wears or in an initial setup, the setting is this is the lowest position you have, okay? And then if you rotate this and you take the screw out and you clock it to the next position, then that's not quite as low as this one. It's a little up, about maybe 1/2 millimeter. And then you've got one more adjustment, and that raises it even higher, okay? But I just don't think we're going to be using that one. I honestly think we'll be lucky if we get this one, but we'll probably be using this one. And if it fails to grab at this point, then we might have a gear wear problem we're going to have to address, okay? Now let me show you on the back side what's going on here with this. I don't make you too dizzy. With this device, you see, I can still do what I want to do. What I want you to focus on is this circle here. This is the offset circle, okay? I'm going to make sure that it's perfectly straight now, okay? We are now in the lowest position. This circle within this is the eccentric, right? This is where we're pivoting our bearing on, and it's at the lowest point, okay? And if I rotate it up, what happens is that starts to go up. It moves over, but it also starts to go up. And if I pivot one more hole, boom, it's almost 50% out of the gear teeth, and it has about 1.5 to 2 millimeters travel, and the gears are only 2 millimeters. So if you're touching here, that's fine, as long as it's solid. If you're not quite good enough, then you can go back down to this level, put that in that position, put the screw in, it'll lock it in. If you really need to get more tooth in, you go to the lowest possible position. That's how this is going to work. And this is the shape of the part. This whole part is going to come out looking like that. See if I can make it do that for me. If I do this and this, maybe it'll come out. Yeah, there it goes. And I'll just say, okay, so you can see it in gray. There it is. That's the part. So as you can see, in this position, we're at the lowest point. This position, we're up a little bit, and in this one, we're up a little bit more. So it all depends. And this is simply fitted in very snug, plastic to plastic, but it's pretty wide. Let's see, how wide is that? From there to there is 4 millimeters. So you got 4 millimeters of material to hold this thing up, and I'm going to be printing it pretty dense too, so it should be fine. And all it is spinning that little, it's not really moving any mass, it's just spinning a gear, a wheel, this gear. That's all it's going to do, is spin that gear, and that's plastic and it's lightweight and all that. Oh, and some of the design changes I wanted to go over here. I rounded the edges of this so that there was more clearance between the teeth, and then I rounded the edges of the teeth on the gear, and I had to do them one at a time. That took me a long time to get done. Then I'm working on this. Now I'm going to be making some changes here and now. I'm going to be pulling this this land here out more, so that the bearing provides more of the surface than having to do shims. Probably the same here. I'll pull this one out where I have shims now, so that the gears will be spaced, but they'll be compressing. Their inner races will be compressing on this piece here, which the bearing has a I don't know, a ledge around it, you know, and then that piece. So anyway, it'll be a refinement. It'll be a touch up, you might say. So these are the three parts: the shaft for positioning the gear, and then the housing itself. And the housing itself has really taken quite a turn as far as shape. Now what I'm going to be doing is mounting the limit switches and the gear with this device. I'm printing this whole piece now, the big frame. It's not going to be done for, well, 15 minutes, and it's only 4 o'clock. I got an hour and a half, so that's good. 15 minutes. This takes 5 minutes. The other part takes, well, I'm not going to print the gear. Gear's done. But I can assemble this then, assemble the bearings, the limit switches, and make sure I get good click, you know, both sides and all this, and solid. I need it to be, I know I always want perfection, but I need it to be as good as I can get it, given the constraints of time and materials and whatnot. But I think this is getting pretty good now. So anyway, that's going to wrap that up. Then we can assemble it to this chassis, tune the cams so that they're operating perfectly, and then I can start addressing the rest of the engine as far as smoke and the Puff and Chuff devices and what I'm going to do for them. And it looks like, yes, I have a tender. I didn't know what I was going to do with this tender, but now I do. I think I'm going to rob it. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's too short. I have to get a new tender chassis. This is a soundboard. So that's my that's my Chuff sound and the bell and whistle, right? So I need that. That's a power regulator for smoke. This is the main power regulator and power distribution. This goes to the fan. There was a fan. I think I had a fan here. This was an early version. Oh yeah, early version of the one I just did, K5. So this powers a fan that's sitting here, but that's gone right now. I may add it back. I need a smaller speaker because this tender's not that big, I don't think. I don't think it's that big. At any rate, I got to get another chassis, change the wheels about, mix and match some of these parts. I got to find a smoke. I mean, there's a smoke system, but it's not the right one. There's a special smoke design for these engines, and I have to find one, or I'm gonna have to print one. But at any rate, I may not. Obviously, an hour and a half, I'm not going to have this thing built, but I'd like to have it close to operational, and that you can see how the royal blue could be, you know, with the machining of this piece here, we've really opened up what you can do, Puff and Chuff, and then all my other stuff I could throw at it. And this is, you know, this chassis is almost identical to the O-Gauge pre-war. So the same program, CNC program, will grind that out on the O-Gauge stuff, and then all my parts will bolt right onto, I think. Pretty close. I've already had the motor converted, and I did put a smoke on a unit once for Tim Lindblom. So I think we're crossing some kind of a barrier. We're breaking through something. I don't know what it is, but I feel really, really good about this. I feel like this is going to be reliable. It's going to be positioning perfectly, and it's going to give us a chance to take these old babies and turn them loose. And then all the development I do on any of the externals that fit on here will fit all the engines. They won't have one special one for the Royal Blue, and then everybody else gets something else. So that'll be exciting. Down the road, I want to get a chunk of aluminum, you know that. Because all I need is a 10-degree angle on a plate, which I think I can machine from aluminum as well. And then I can have a motor plate that bolts to the aluminum chassis, tabs that come out or not, and then drill the axles with CNC accuracy. Why not? And I can drill those axles in for ball bearings. I could get ball bearings that fit on the axles. Those don't fit, but they are ball bearings that do. Oh, I know why. That's the fat side maybe, huh? Is that the fat wheel? No. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about. But there are ball bearings. I can get them. I know I've seen them. Or I'll change the axles and wheels if I have to. People are printing wheels, so I'll just print the wheel with a smaller thing. Although I don't think printed wheels are as solid of a wheel. I think printed material that gets that strain and stress of banging on a track is not the same as some of these other things. Okay, well, that's where I'm at. I'm waiting for this to print. I might go ride my bike. I got 10 minutes on this, so maybe I should do some exercise. Since poor Margaret was in a wheelchair for 3 months, I have not done spit. I've just been taking care of her. Now that she's mobile again, maybe I should get back in gear. Okay, that's it. That's what it's going to look like. Little castle hat thing, and I don't know, it looks weird, but I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be fine. I mean, this always looks better than the real thing. Sometimes the real thing looks better, but we'll see. All right, that's enough. Gotta go. Bye.